such a cynical, sarcastic society, oftentimes looking for the negative on anybody or anything. If you're fortunate enough to spend 5 minutes or 20 minutes around Tim Tebow, your life is better for it.
We were blessed to win the national championship, and 2 days afterwards, I was eating dinner, and Coach Meyer gets a call, and he's like, all right, bye. And I was like, Coach, what's that all about? He said, that's Steve McLean, who was our PR guy in Florida. I said, well, what do you have to say? He said, Tim, he just told me that during the game, 94 million people Googled John 3:16. That game just happened to be January 8th of 2009. Well, exactly 3 years later, January 8th, 2012, exactly 3 years later to the night that I put John 3:16 under my eyes, I was playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos in the first round of playoffs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't think of John 3:16 one time going into that game at all. I didn't even know it was 3 years from the night that I wore it. Just went out there and tried to win a silly football game, and we were blessed to win this crazy game.
Then came the miracles, a string of improbable late-game victories.
But after Tebow engineered yet another impossible last-minute win with this 80-yard overtime pass.
Afterwards, I go into the locker room, I change really fast, I'm getting ready to walk into the press conference. So I'm getting ready to walk in this press conference and walk through this curtain, and right as I'm going to walk through, our PR guy, Patrick, jumps in front of me, he's like, Timmy, do you realize what happened? And I was like, yeah, we just beat the Steelers, we're going to play the Patriots. He's like, no, Timmy, you don't realize what happened. And I could tell he's being serious, so I was like, Patrick, what's up, man? He says, Timmy, it's 3 years from the night that you wore John 3:16 under your eyes. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. He's like, no, you don't realize what happened. I was like, well, what happened? He said, Timmy, during the game, you threw for 316 yards. And your yards per rush were 3.16. And your yards per completion were 31.6. And the time of possession was 31.6. And the ratings for the night were 31.6.
316. That's how many yards Tebow passed for in the game. An eerie echo of the numbers he used to paint on his face. 316.
Tebow passed, now look at these numbers. Tebow passed for 316 yards. He averaged 31.6 yards per pass. And guess what CBS's rating for the game peaked at? You guessed it, 31.6. All those 316s had the fans searching the internet, and that's where they found the famous Bible verse.
Tim Tebow sometimes painted John 3:16 on his eye black when he was in college at the University of Florida, and that's a practice, by the way, the NCAA has since banned.
And during the game, 90 million people Googled John 3:16, and so many people were on social media talking about it that it actually shut down Twitter for a little while because it was getting overloaded.
And when Denver quarterback Tim Tebow threw this touchdown pass on Sunday, he entered the record books, not just for football, but because it prompted more than 9,400 tweets per second, a Twitter record for a sporting event.
Still, in just 3 months, Tebow's popularity has skyrocketed.
So you're one of the biggest names in sports right now. How do you stay so humble?
I think humility is something that is really hard, but I think humility comes not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less, meaning try to look for the people around you and what they need and how you can help them and how you can make an impact in their life, because I think the greatest form of love is choosing the best interest of another person and acting on their behalf. I want to say something that you wrote here. It's on the jacket. Your circumstances do not define you. Your identity does. And many thought football defined you. That was your identity. But it has not been. And how did you prevent that from happening?
Well, I think it's really understanding what matters, what's important in your life, and having something bigger than just what you do. And when you have an identity that's bigger than what you do, even when that fails or you crumble or someone says you're not good enough or you can't or you won't or you shouldn't, you can still prevail over that because your life is bigger than that. And for me, it's to be able to have a foundation of something bigger in yourself, understand what God says about you, that you are important, that you have a life of significance and you have a life of meaning. And when you understand your purpose, that'll totally change your identity.
And I was just standing in this hallway getting ready to go talk to the media, and I was just so humbled. And my first thought was, dang, I thought tonight was about a game. I thought it was about winning or losing. I thought it was about going to the next round of the playoffs. But the God that we serve is just so much bigger than that. And He can take the games that we're involved in, the jobs that we have, the things that we're doing, and He can transcend them to be so much more than that.